everybody, this is Algebra 1, Lesson 49, and this lesson is going to cover multiplication of polynomials. Alright, so when we multiply polynomials, we are just going to distribute like we normally would when we have parentheses, so rainbow it basically. Alright, so we're going to multiply 4x times x squared, so it would look like this, 4x times x squared, okay? First we multiply our number. We have 4, and then we don't have a number over here, so we just keep the 4. Now we have x times x squared, so that means x times x times x, that would be x to the third. So when we multiply exponents with bases that are the same, so our x and our x are the same, this is basically a 1. We just add 1 and 2, and it makes 3, okay? Now we have to multiply by this other term in that second part, so 4x times negative 2. Here we just have numbers. 4 times 2 is 8, and that will be negative 8x. We can't forget this x right here. Alright, so when we multiply polynomials, we multiply every term in the first by every term in the second. Alright, let's do another example. And take note of this. It says multiply and write the answer in descending order of the variable. That means our highest variable will come first. So if we have any thirds, then squareds, then 1, then no variable. Alright, so this one we have 2 terms in the first and 2 terms in the second. So we're just going to rainbow that. And we'll multiply our numbers first. 3 times 4 is 12. And then x times x would be x squared. Now we're going to multiply it by the second term in that second one. So we have 4 times 2, which would be negative 8, and x. Okay, now we have to multiply the second term by every term in that second one. So we're going to multiply here. 3 times 5 is 15. X. Flip this x right here. And now we're going to multiply over here. 5 times 2 is 10, and that would be negative 10. Now you'll notice that we have like terms right here that we need to put together. So negative 8x and 15x are like terms, so we're going to put those together. So we're just going to copy these down. 12x squared. And 15 minus 8 would be 7. Positive 7x minus 10. And there's the answer to that one. Alright, there's another way that you can set these up that makes it easier to see those like terms. I'll do it that way on this one. Alright, so we're going to start by multiplying our 4x times x. So that would get us 4x squared. Now we're going to do 4x times negative 5. So 4 times 5 is 20, and that would be negative 20x. Alright, now we're going to do our 2 times our x, and we get 2x. Now 2x will be like terms with negative 20, so I'm going to write it below. Now I'm going to do 2 times 5 is negative 10. Now I can just write a line under here and add my like terms. So there's no like terms with 4x squared. And all I did was line up my like terms. So my negative 20x and my 2x, which will be negative 18x and then minus 10. Alright, do another example. That way just makes it easier to see those like terms. Either method is fine. You don't have to stack them. Alright, so on this one, we've got 4x times 3x. 3 times 4 is 12x squared. Now I have 4 times 5, which would be negative 20x. Now I've got 2 times 3, which would be 6x. And I'm just lining those up and down. And 2 times 5 would be negative 10. Now I'm just going to add my like terms. So I've got 12x squared minus 14x minus 10. Descending order of the variable means our squared comes first, then our 1, and then no variable. Right? I think there's another example here. All right, so this one's a little different. This one says 3x plus 2 squared. Now, we can't just square each of these terms. We can't say 9x squared and then 2 times 2 is 4. It's tempting to try to do that. But what this really means is 3x plus 2 times 3x plus 2. So we have to write the whole thing twice and then rainbow it. So here we're going to have 3 times 3 is 9. My pen stopped working. Hang on. 9x squared. And then we're going to rainbow this way. 3 times 2 is 6x. Then the bottom, 3 times 2 is another 6x. Wait, that's positive. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Now we're just going to add those up. 6 and 6 is 12x plus 4. Okay, if we had just squared each of these, we would have had 9x squared and 4, but we wouldn't have had this 12x right here. So that's why you can't just square it. You have to write them both out and then rainbow it. All right, this one has 3 terms on the second part, so we're going to have to multiply 3 times for each term in the first part. So 4x times x squared is going to give us 4x to the third. And we're going to go here, and that's going to give us 4x squared. And then we have to go there, and 4 times 4 is 16x. Now we're going to do the second term right here. Negative 2 times x squared would be negative 2x squared. So on this one, I'm going to find my x squared. The answer to that would be negative 2x squared. I'm going to find my x squared and put it under that. So minus 2x squared. All right, now I'm going to have negative 2 times x, which would be negative 2x. See how they're lining up under like terms? Negative 2 times 4 would be 2 times 4 is negative 8. Now I'm just going to add my like terms. So 4x to the third. Now we have 4 minus 2, which will be positive 2x squared. 16 minus 2 would be positive 14x, and then negative 8. So there's our answer to that one. These are really pretty easy. They look confusing at first, but once you do a couple of them, they're easy. So go ahead and do the practice problems, and when you're done, unpause the video, and I'll work them for you. All right, so practice A. We have 2 terms in the first one and 2 in the second one, so we're going to multiply 4 times. So 5 times 2 is 10x squared. 5 times 4 is 20, so that'd be negative 20x. Now we do the second term. 3 times 2 is 6, so that'd be positive 6x. And then 3 times 4 is 12, and that'll be negative 12. We're going to add these up. 10x squared, and then negative 14x minus 12. Okay, pretty easy on that one. There's the first one. All right, B, this is one where you have to write them out. So I'm going to have 5x minus 6 times 5x minus 6. Okay. I'll rainbow this first term. 5 times 5 is 25. X times x is x squared. Now go to the second term. 5 times 6 is 30, and we've got a negative and a positive, so it's negative 30. And then we've got this x. All right, now we have to do the second term. 6 times 5 is 30, and that's negative 30. And we have this x right here, x. And now we have 6 times 6. Negative times a negative makes a positive, 36. Now we're just going to put those together. 25 x squared. 30 and 30 would be negative 60 x plus 36. And that's the answer to B. All right, C, we're multiplying by 1 with 3 different terms there. 3x times x squared would give us 3x to the third. 3 times 2 would be, and that's a positive and a negative, would be negative 6. X times x would be x squared. Then 3x times 3. So we're saying 3 times 3 is 9. And then we have an x and no x over here, so just one x right there. So that's your top, your first one. Now we're going to do this term, the negative 1 times x squared would be negative x squared. So it's just negative 1x squared. And I'm writing it under my x squared term so I can put like terms together. Now I've got negative 1 times negative 2x. 1 times 2 is 2, but negative times a negative makes a positive. So positive 2x, because I've got my x right there. Now negative 1 times positive 3 would be negative 3. Don't have any x's with that one. Now I'm going to put these together, and I get 3x to the third. Negative 6, negative 1 would be negative 7x squared. 9 plus 2 is 11, plus 11x, and then minus 3. So that's the answer to C. I think that was it for the practice problems. Yes. All right, so that's it for that lesson. If you have any questions, just message me or save those ones for class. Thanks. Bye.